I want to know what the hell is going on.
All right, well, hey, we watched a movie, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a pretty ugly movie.
Wait, you didn't clap.
Oh, yeah, we gotta do the clap. Let's do the clap. Ready?
Clap.
One, two, three. Wait. Okay, I'm calling the clap.
Come on, old
Three,
man. Keep
two,
up. 1, 2,
one.
3.
Perfect.
Okay, beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
We did it.
And speaking of which, Katie, there were a few times where I've said to you, like, hey, make sure you clap. And you say, I clap every time. Do you not notice that I get to listen to your sound file afterwards? So, like, I know.
I am clapping. You just can't hear it.
Okay, well, if you're clapping next to your mic so quietly that the microphone is not picking up you clapping on it, then you're doing it wrong.
I'm not slamming my hands together.
That's what clapping is. It's slamming your hands together. What do you think? Explain to me what clapping is without slamming your hands together.
I'm not slamming my hands together so much they hurt, so it's the loudest thing you've ever heard. I can clap like this and you should be able to hear it.
Yeah, that's not doing it, Katie. You have to clap.
Calling me a liar does not help the situation of you just didn't hear it.
It's not a clap if you softly touch your
Listen
hands
to me
together.
clapping right now. Listen to me clapping so softly that a microphone an inch away can't pick it up.
Well, I think it's safe to say that it's not working if the mic doesn't pick it up and we can't hear it. So,
well, maybe you
Yes.
should get hearing aids.
And every audience that you've been a member of is looking at you a little bit like, come on, you got to pull your part. You know, we're all clapping. You're just like
just rubbing them in a circle.
Yeah, like the evil muhahaha. And you're like, why do I get cast as the villain? Because you clap like an evil villain.
So speaking of evil villains, let's talk about this movie. Katie, you want to take the floor? This was your pick.
Nice segue because this movie is evil.
Okay. Yeah, we watched The Ugly Dachshund. The 1966 American comedy directed by Norman Tokar and written by some other people and starring some people you probably have never really heard of. Maybe Dean Jones?
Starring a second rate, what's his name? The guy from Wonderful Life?
Dean Jones?
Oh, James Stewart.
Yeah, it's a second rate James Stewart. That's what his voice was reminding me of the entire time.
Suzanne Plachette, Charlie Ruggles. It's a Disney movie that I grew up watching. I don't know how or why, but yeah, I did.
What a random movie to, because out of all the, not that there's anything wrong with that choice necessarily, but there's so many other Disney movies out there that, this one, really?
Right, but it was like, it's not like it was like a weird, like, random choice that was made. I remember watching a lot of, like, 60s older things. Like, I grew up watching I Love Lucy and Mary Tyler Moore and fucking The Dick Van Dyke Show. Like, all those older sitcoms. I've seen a huge portion of them. I've seen probably most of I Love Lucy, including movies and things. Like, I don't know what was happening in my household, but I've definitely seen too many.
Probably Nick at Night
things.
Playing all those old reruns.
Yeah, I remember Nick at Night, but like that's no excuse for like this movie and just other things
even, like,
that I watched as a child. I don't understand, and I don't know why.
And your mom doesn't strike me as the kind of person that would watch a lot of those either. Like, she likes a little bit more contemporary stuff. I mean, she likes Prince, so like that's not exactly like old fuddy-duddy that you would think of. Like,
Can I get you to say the name of this movie one more time, Katie?
The Ugly Dachshund.
It's
Dachshund.
Dachshund? Dachshund?
See, yes.
That's
Dachshund, but I say Dash. It's the growing up thing.
It's Dachshund.
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 Can we get a clear take of it as like Arnold?
The Ugly Dachshund. Well, because like you're supposed to put a ooh on the U and a hard T on the D.
So you guys are gonna sit there and try to make fun of me, but do that impression and think it's fine.
Dachshund. Dachshund. I wasn't even trying to say it like Arnold. I'm trying to think of like, because I used to sing German opera, so I'm trying to think of like in German diction, and I don't speak German, so I don't know, but like it would be like Dachshund, because you got to put the T on the D sound and stuff. But anyways, yeah.
Oh, so maybe it was attached to Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree. For some reason, in theatrical showings.
What?
Anyways, yeah, I just saw that. I don't know. So this movie is about Fran Garrison and her husband, Mark. young. Are they young? I guess they're young.
The first two unlikable people that we meet in an entirely unlikable cast.
Somewhat unhappily married. Happily, I don't know if they're happily married.
Are they
couple? Yeah, they're married.
They're married, but it's the 60s, so they sleep in separate beds on TV because you can't show that.
Yeah. I mean, people did that in real life, too. That wasn't just on TV.
My grandma and grandpa had separate bedrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend are currently sleeping in separate beds, separate houses, separate cities. We haven't talked in months, but things are going well.
Spring break! Why do you do this?
Good. Do you need a therapy session before I get into the movie?
Yeah, sorry.
Can finish?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So happily married couple and the proud owners of. See, I don't like Donka. Is it Donka? Donka? I don't remember the name. How is her name pronounced? Stupid little weenie dog.
Tonka. 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 Yeah. Tonka. Tonka.
I guess she's not the bad one.
Well,
wait. Is her name Donka? Her name is Donka.
Tonka.
Let's set the stage because the movie starts
an award-winning weenie dog.
We don't know that at the very beginning because it seems like a couple getting ready to go to the hospital to give birth.
Yeah,
How...
I'm just doing the main synopsis, bro.
Okay.
Calm down.
Yeah, Donka.
Yeah, Donka.
So that's just German for thank you.
That's what I thought.
Tonka.
Yeah.
You named your dog Thanks.
Right. So in terms of the cast, because I was looking at it, I haven't gotten super into it to know, like, because there are 2 Asian characters in this, and it's not great. I just wanted to know if they actually were Asian or Asian American or whatever it is, versus like, what was the movie from way back in the day? Was it white people playing Asian people? Mickey Rooney, somebody.
Breakfast, was that Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Something like that, yeah. So I wanted to know if it was one of those or if these people actually were Asian. And as far as I can tell,
yeah, Kenji was played by Mako, however you say his name.
Yeah, he's
famous in a lot of 80s movies and 90s. I mean, as a kid that grew up in the 80s and watched like action movies, he was in Conan the Barbarian and Destroyer and stuff like that. So yeah, he's definitely
okay. Make it more contemporary. Samurai Jack, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
He's Japanese American.
Yeah, he's legit and
somewhat wonderful. Prominent.
Yeah. And the other one was, well, I can't say, like, all I'm seeing is he's born in LA and then he's done a bunch of other shit. But like
Robert Kino.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah, and it could be just an anglicized name, so who knows?
Right, that's why I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell before I tear into the depiction of.
And I'm looking at more pictures of him, and he looks Asian. And,
right, that's
he
I'm
was
like
born in L.A. and stuff. So. Yeah,
that's I'm like, I don't know if it's he died. Okay, I thought it said Alabama. I was like, ooh, died in Alabama. That sucks. Sorry, bro. No offense to anyone in Alabama, but I don't think I want to die there.
Well, I'd rather be dead in California than alive in Arizona.
Your soul is trapped in Alabama for all of time.
I'll tear your head right off your fucking neck, I swear to God.
And his brother is Lloyd Kino. That's who I'm looking up now, even. And he... I mean, they're definitely Asian.
Yeah, his brother played the Japanese Beetle in a movie, and so I'm guessing Japanese American.
Kino is a Japanese name, so that's
I mean,
not to
I don't want to
stereotype. Yeah,
but
and I don't want to stereotype off of appearance and name and stuff like that. But there is a certain amount. Like, at least it looks authentic, you know. But and that doesn't help the fact that they play.
His Hollywood name is a shortened name. His full name, I don't want to butcher it, so I'm not even gonna try to say it. But yeah, he's an American actor, but of Asian descent, from what I can tell.
Yeah, and I don't know if that makes it better or worse that the incredibly racist caricatures in this movie were.
I don't know if it makes it better or worse. It's just less icky that they were putting white people in it and, you know, painting their face or something.
At least an Asian person got paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, which again, this movie, it's always a good start to a movie where right before the credits roll, you see a disclaimer saying, "Hey, by the way, this shit is really offensive, and we're sorry, but we're gonna leave it alone and let you see it to see how horrible we were a few years ago."
Yeah, right.
And I mean,
right at the gate,
it's
that warning pops up. You know,
I don't know. We'll get into it. So yes, we start off with a couple rushing to the hospital, and you are assuming that the wife is pregnant. You see from what, shoulder up? That's all you get.
And she's wearing like a big coat, I think, that's like wrapped up.
Like
so
you can't see anything. Husband's rushing her into the car. They're speeding to the hospital. The worst cop I've ever seen on film. Actually, no. I've seen the other guys. Aim for the bushes. One of the worst cops I've ever seen on film, or maybe the most accurate. I don't know. Sees them speeding, goes to pull them over, assumes that the wife is in labor, and gives them a police escort to the hospital. As they fly past the hospital, he sees he's wrong and continues to follow them to the veterinarian's office, where we find out that Danka is the one who is pregnant and is about to have her puppies.
And even before we get there, I'd like to point out that at the beginning, when he's putting on his sweater and he gets stuck, was it just me, or did it look like he's wearing a straitjacket?
Yeah,
and maybe that would have saved
I literally
have this movie's problems.
I literally have it paused on that screen right now, and I just want
to looks like he's wearing a straitjacket. Yeah,
it's a lesser attempt at Dick Van Dyke Show type humor.
It felt very slapsticky without the actual chops to pull off the slap part. You know?
And I was there are some actual parts that made me laugh later in this, but this didn't look promising from this start to me, but it got there for me a little bit in the humor a little ways down the road. But I was
parts that made me laugh were not the parts where I think were supposed to make me laugh. For like example, the nosy fucking milkman. Like, what is up with this milkman sniffing around? Like, and we wonder where those stereotypes came from. Is this the kind of milkman that we're worried about? Like, if she gets pregnant, is she? He
was trying to upsell her. He said, "Let me know when you're ready to increase your order," meaning like, "Oh, you have a kid on the way. That's more mouths, for milk to go in."
Sure. That's what he's talking about.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah, I was rolling my eyes at that beginning attempt at humor. But yeah, so the worst cop in the world then writes him 1 million tickets because he realizes, oh, it was just his dog. These pampered rich people thinking that they can have a police escort to get their dog birth.
Yeah, and then the sighting, he's going over like all the infractions and all the things he did wrong, and it was what, like $500 or something?
Yeah. This in today's world would have bankrupted a lot of people. We're talking like $5,000-$6,000 in fines. He might have had to spend the night in jail. He probably would have had to hire an attorney. I mean, if you're even well enough to afford all of that stuff. Some people would have lost their entire license. They would have had to worry about how are you going to get to work. And it's like, it just shows you like the playful nature that the media has towards police, especially in this era. Like, oh, the shucks. The police are just here to help you, buddy. We're just here to offer you some helpful tips, blah, 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 blah. When in today's culture, depending on the color of your skin and your socioeconomic background, you might be looking at the cops very, very differently in today's world, you know? So I don't know. It's very much a relic of its time, and it shows that, like, if I had a cop following me on the way to the hospital, like, even the fact the cop had to get up next to him and, like, point at the side of the road to pull over. By the time the cop is at that point, they've already called in backup, and you're on the fucking news and shit like that. You're in a high-speed chase now, my friend.
Right.
Your wife's going to get shot without anybody even seeing that what she's holding in her lap, or if she's pregnant.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So they get there, their puppies are birthed, and I think we skip, like a few days when he goes back to actually pick them up from the vet.
Is this where the wife is giving all the dog names?
Yeah, she's going over the names for the dogs, which... Okay. Calm down.
Yeah, how pretentious are the names that she's throwing out there? And if you were to sum up, if I were to look up "I don't give a fuck" in the dictionary, I would see that husband's face over and over again. Like, I imagine him, if I were him, I would have a hard time not flipping out a little bit and being like, listen, I already told you, I don't have a suggestion. Will you leave me the fuck alone, please?
We haven't gotten into their dynamic very much yet, but it's kind of fascinating. Like, they're shitty to each other. Let's just put it that way. Like, she gets away with a lot. She is clearly in charge, which fascinating for a 66. The things she gets away with.
He has kind of a very, I picked up on it. It's mild and it kind of goes away, but towards the beginning, he has that sort of, oh God, I can't stand my bitch wife vibe going on. You know, that type of guy, like always constantly like at odds and and making a sort of turt face and pretending to smile, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what are their jobs? Because as far as I can tell, she just shows dogs and he is just an artist. Is that the entirety of their
I think
jobs?
for the most part, which, I mean, it's 66, so that's not surprising for her that she's just a housewife with the show dog hobby, I guess.
Again, how whimsical of a world that you do live in, that you can just be an artist that paints part-time, that otherwise just takes care of the household, and you can afford a house that big, a very nice house, a very nice car. You have a backyard with a goddamn pond in it. Like, you know? What an idealized view of the world, and the milkman coming by and knowing you by name and checking on you, the police officer giving you an escort to the vet office and then writing you a bunch of tickets, but doing so in a playful way, you know, like, wow.
The truth of the matter is this is just amazing.
This world probably existed to some people in their mind.
Like they're just talking about TV.
This is the world. This is the world when people say things used to be better, things used to be easier, and the world used to be simple. This world right here is what they're talking about, and that's why to me I'm looking at this is completely unbelievable. This is such a you got to shatter this reality for me to take it seriously, but it's it's not going to do that. It's a 60s fucking run of the mill status quo supporting comedy.
So when he's there to pick up the Dachshund pups, his vet has a Great Dane there, and the litter was too big, and there's one of the puppies that's been shunned and is not getting to eat, and he says, hey, maybe you should take this Great Dane to nurse on your fresh Dachshund mommy. And he's like, yeah. He starts getting the husband starts getting these ideas of a nice dog for him to have while his wife has all her little dachshunds. A manly
which is
dog.
just obnoxious. Yeah, the manly dog, and the joke's on you. It's a female. So I know he's supposed to be Brutus in the movie, but it's a female Great Dane.
Right.
Like champion fucking winning. I was trying to find out more about the dogs because I want to know how they directed them and everything. They're fucking amazing. I didn't really
the dog
see anything.
wranglers on this show must have been very talented, even though there are sometimes where I'm like, what did you do to that dog? It looks like it's in pain right now, but anyways.
But like, it's a female dog, so it's a manly dog, and she's got her little frou-frou ankle biters, whatever, like that. Shut up. Bro, you're an artist. You untired about female and manly and not manly. You're 66 and you're just an artist. Like, that's not the most manly job you could have had in the 60s if you want to put gender roles onto things.
Well, and this begins the beginning of the dog trauma, as far as I'm concerned. This movie, as coming from a person's point of view that really loves dogs, and I hate to see movies where bad things happen to dogs. I know I'm not alone. There's even the website, does the dog die or whatever. But this is where the dog trauma begins in this movie. When we start hearing about like this poor Great Dane is just going to get left to starve. And the vet is acting like, if you don't take this dog, I'm going to let it starve too.
And he's not. Like, it's he's feeding, he's trying to guilt trip him into it. Like, it is a take on the ugly duckling.
But is that not the threat? Like, if you don't take it, it's going to starve.
That is the whole point, is it's a play on the ugly duckling. So, like, yeah, he's shunned and he learns and he turns into a swan at the end. Like, that's what they're doing. But yeah, the guilt trip, I'm just like, what if it didn't work? Like, now you just look like an asshole. Like, what are you doing?
And you're going to raise the dog anyway, so the dog is going to be fine, or you're going to find another home for it. You know what I'm saying? It's just the whole pretense of trauma happening, and most of the trauma is this dog, from the beginning to end of its life, is just the brunt of trauma. Everybody's like making fun of it. Everybody's like blaming shit on it. Everybody's like threatening. It's a pawn. Here, can you take this from me? Because what I'm going to do, if you don't, I'm going to kill this fucking dog in a slow, painful way. Okay, you're going to take it? Cool. Awesome. Thanks. Anyways, I know it's supposed to be funny, but from a dog lover's point of view, there's an element of like, why'd you have to do this to the dog?
I'm fine. So,
I guess somebody has to pay the price.
I apparently it was based on a book. There's a book version of this. I want the book. Apparently the dogs talk in the book and everything. Why didn't that happen? Like, what?
Now that would have been more interesting, maybe. I don't know. That would have...
That's disappointing.
Who knows? They would have had racist stereotypes. There would have been a black dog. There would have been a Chinese dog. There would have been
It's also just a ripoff of the Ugly Duckling. Like,
and that's what it's supposed to be. But the fact that I'm finding out there's apparently a book, as a book person, mind blown.
Anyway, his wife says, fuck no, you can't have that dog. I'm the only one who's allowed to have dogs, and makes him give it back to the vet.
Which we start to see the beginning of this cold-hearted woman. Like, I'm not saying that he's really that much likable either, but oh my God. I mean, not to come across in any kind of sexist way or whatever, but this woman is horrible in this movie. Like, if this is what women were like expected, or like, was this supposed to be a mirror held to women and relationships in the time? I don't think so, because this is horrible. She doesn't listen to him. He lies to her. She completely disregards his wishes all the time. We'll talk about his birthday in a minute. Oh yes, we'll talk about his birthday in a minute.
I thought his birthday was hilarious.
Oh my God, it was horrible. We'll get there.
I mean, that's what's coming up next after she makes him give it away, and he's all obviously upset about it.
But like at the same time, this is she's clearly made out to be a villain. No, the people who act like this are not the ones we're putting on screen and going,
right.
look at her with her cute little puppies, and she's just trying to get the puppies to win ribbons and blah blah blah. Like I said, they're horrible to each other. Like, they don't listen to each other. They don't listen to each other's wishes.
They lie.
He lies to her and brings an animal into the house and lets it feed off of her prized, like, award-winning dog without telling her, which, like, whatever, that's a whole thing I'm not even gonna get into, but like, don't lie to your wife about bringing an animal into the house that like, oh, they just found a fourth puppy. Like,
the casual abuse of each other is part of what really throws me off, is that like he'll say something like, I would really like this dog, and he's letting it known from one partner to another, you know, hey, I know you've got fucking 5 dogs of your own. Can I have one of my own? I would really like this. And she just completely disregards him. She doesn't listen to him. And his response is to just fucking lie to her. So like, one type of abuse just begots another type of abuse. Is this how your relationship works?
But it's,
okay, I guess.
Thinking about it like that whole thing, like, I could see her saying no when all we see him doing is running around telling her that her dogs suck, paying attention to his own art in his art studio, and then whenever she's like, Brutus, no, then he comes up and he's like, but Brutus is great. What are you talking about? How the fuck would you know?
Yeah.
You're not spending time with him. You're not around him. So
and we didn't have cameras, so how
like,
does he trust him? Because every time Brutus gets blamed for something, I get it. It looks like he's the one that did it. If any of us were in the room, we would think the same thing. So like, him having faith in the dog is an anomaly all on its own. That like, dude, you're a little bit delusional that you believe your dog can do no wrong. Like, we as the audience get to see that it's true, but
yeah,
like,
I mean, both.
They're both so delusional about these animals, and I think it might be like, maybe the writer is trying to allude to what would it be like if they had kids? And I'm like, please don't. The only thing you all need to get is a divorce.
Yeah, but I mean, as someone who grew up with a dog that my stepmom got, and he would climb up on the table and take stuff off of it and like eat things and destroy things, and we would get blamed for it. I understand this whole, oh, well, there's no way that my animals could do this. My dog could do that, until she saw it with her own eyes. And then it was, oh, my bad. Like,
I'm sorry.
I totally see people going like, my dog could never. Trust me, they fucking can. Like, I just haven't.
When you see the evil side of a child or a pet or something like that the parent or, they don't see it, and you're like, oh, you are living in a fantasy world, and everybody else in your life is paying the price for it right now.
Yeah, this whole back and forth of like the start of it just being a lie, and yet again, you brought an animal into your house that you know nothing about. Like, I get it's a puppy, all of the things, but yeah, I see her being mad. I can see him being upset about it, but you try to lie and manipulate your way into having a dog instead of just being like, hey, this puppy needs help. Can we bring it into the house? And then trying to weasel your way into it from there.
The whole
or even just putting your foot down, like, I'm going to have a dog. I'm sorry. You do what you want with your life, but with my portion of the bills and the amount of money that I bring into the household, I'm having a dog. You have 4 or 5 or 12. I have 1.
The whole premise.
I mean, yes, but that comes with the whole stuff. There's no conversation. There's nothing happening. This needs to be a conversation. They have horrible communication issues. You can sit there and say, I make all the money. I'm doing what I want. But if you're not going to take care of it, no, you can't have it. I'm not doing another job for you just because you're telling me you make money. That's absolutely. Like saying, you have the job, so I have to cook and clean everything. Absolutely the fuck not. You can also take care of some of these things in the house. No. Like, just because you work doesn't mean you can't take care of yourself at home.
The whole
I'm not your mother.
whole
Keith is trying to get.
I'm trying to fucking
Sorry,
talk,
Kate.
but nobody will.
Too bad. Now you know how I feel.
All right. Anyways, moving on to the next scene. No, sorry. Go ahead, man. Say what you gotta say.
The whole plot is deranged in that I'm gonna sneak this baby Great Dane in and pass it off as a dachshund.
Yeah.
How long is that going to last?
About
4 days.
About 4 days. I think is where they got or something along.
But
those lines.
he's noticed. He's probably expecting. He's hanging his hat on the fact that she doesn't pay attention to anybody but herself and her dogs. So maybe she's going to be so fucking clueless, or she's going to be so hopped up on martinis and lithium that she won't even fucking notice that this dog is like 4 times the size of her other dogs.
But like, how insulting are you being to your spouse that like I can sneak in this huge breed next to this small ass breed
She'll never
and
notice.
think she's not gonna notice when that is the one thing she pays attention to.
Why is she? I just didn't have the right opportunity. Is she? I.
And this the whole conversation where she's like, "Oh yeah, he looks a little strange. Don't you think he looks strange?" And he's completely clueless. They've had these puppies for 4 days. He hasn't checked in on them once because he's asking her how they're doing, and he doesn't know that Brutus is already not looking like the other puppies. So clearly, you haven't even looked at this dog, but you want it so bad. Like, no, go fuck yourself.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
So this movie finally got a chuckle out of me when she made him give the dog away, and he's working in his studio, and she brings him coffee or tea or something, and she's like, "Oh, are you mad?" And he's like, "I'm not mad. You forgot the cream." And
yeah, and then he's doing is drawing pictures of a dog that looks exactly like him.
yeah.
It's
Which
like they
is,
might as well have a thought balloon, you know.
They're trying to pull on your heartstrings. Like, this poor man, like, she clearly doesn't feel great about making him give the dog back, but is trying to stand on like the morals of like, you lied to me, you did this, you did that, and he's just like, look at all these puppies I've drawn. Like, I want it so bad, but you have done nothing to deserve it. You've done nothing to say you're going to care for it. Or you actually you just want it. You want it to say you have a dog. Look at my big dog. I have a man dog. She's got her woman dogs. Like, that's the only thing he wants out of this.
Yeah. And so it's just a status symbol for him. And he's just in. Yeah, you're right.
So let's talk about the birthday, because that's what's up next.
Oh my God, the birthday. First off, if I was the man in the situation, our relationship wouldn't have lasted to the point where she gives the big reveal about what her birthday surprise was. I literally would have broken up with her before we got to that point in the conversation. I'm not lying.
Which is funny, because
this whole birthday leading up to it, she is the worst. That is the worst. If you want an example of the worst fucking birthday to throw for a significant other, this is pretty fucking close, other than like cuckolding your husband against his will right in front of him or something like that. This is right up there next to that.
Daddy, chill.
But there's also, it's not a great birthday. Like, she doesn't give the best gifts and whatever. And like that, like I said, this good lack of communication. They should not be together at all. But there's also this thing where like she thinks he genuinely cares about her and her interests in these puppies. When he doesn't give a fuck about anything.
You think that he cares about you? Neither one of you actually care about each other.
I don't know.
I feel like she does a little bit, and she tries, but she is just so wrapped up in her own bullshit. She does not notice that, like, no, he's not paying attention to anything. You're not paying attention to anything.
I read this differently.
He quit smoking for a month and you didn't notice, but also, is he smoking around you? Does he go outside to smoke? Like, there's questions we don't have the answers to, and it's just made to make her look so clueless and so uninvested in him. That's what we take from it.
It's supposed to be silly, but we take it as like borderline abusive or neglectful of a partner.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I saw it and read it as silly. Like, she's trying to amp it up and really drive it home in a fun way, so that when it's revealed, like, hey, look, I got you this dog, you know. But it backfires, and she drives him to the brink of desperation.
Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be? It's all I'm saying. Like, first off, motherfucker, okay, let's walk down the timeline. He buys symphony tickets. So he's planning on going out to dinner and taking her to symphony. And he's been talking about going to the Philharmonic for a while, from what we pick up on. This isn't just like a new thing
Right.
for him. He bought fucking tickets to the Philharmonic. He's an artist himself. I'm assuming he really likes a symphony, and that money is not exactly, it's not cheap. So he's going out to dinner, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, no, we're not going to go to the symphony tonight. We're going to stay home. And he's like, but honey, I really want to go to the symphony. And she's like, no, I'm going to tell you what you want on your fucking birthday. We're going to spend more time with the dogs that you don't fucking like. We're going to spend time with them. And like,
see, that's not how it is though. She plays it off.
Yeah,
Like,
it really is
enticing
what
part
he
to
wants.
get him to change his mind is that she's like, well, yeah, we could, or we could stay at home, wink, wink, and have sex, wink, wink, but let's give your presents first. But he's still pent up and holding on to this thing. They haven't had this fucking conversation that he really wants this dog. He wants to take care of this dog. He loves this dog. You love your dog. You should both have it.
And in order to get sex from me in our marriage that we should be having sex on a fairly regular basis, I would think. In order to have sex with me, you have to like give up your symphony tickets and the dinner you have planned. You have to fuck your birthday plans, because if you want to have sex, you got to do this instead. You got to hang out with me and my dogs. That's what it felt like, her holding her physical intimacy hostage to try to get him to spend time with the dogs that he doesn't fucking like. And it was like, man, this is his birthday.
That's not how I'm taking it. I'm not taking it as she's holding things hostage. She thinks this will be a nice thing. They can hang out, they can reconnect, they can have sex, they can do whatever. She wants to give you the presents. Like, yeah, she's giving you presents from the dogs because those are like her kids. Like, that'd be like, no, Johnny didn't get you anything. I bought all these presents. Fuck Johnny. He didn't even pick out the color of this bow tie. Like, excluding your family from your birthday celebration and everything. When, like, yeah, he comes around to it. He wants to go to the symphony. I would have just went to the symphony and done the things later. But this is what she's thinking, like, to reconnect. Like, he's upset at me. Maybe if we can do this and we can stay in and we can have these conversations and we can get over it and we can have a nice birthday together and blah, 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 blah. But anything is going to set him off because he's just harboring all this shit and not saying anything to her about it.
If she thinks to reconnect with her husband, the best way to do it is get him to cancel his plans on his birthday, then she's a fucking moron. That's not how you reconnect with your partner. I don't reconnect with my partner and say, hey, this thing that you've been looking forward to, why don't you cancel and just hang out with me at home instead?
But you're forgetting,
like,
Kelly.
So you mean the thing that I do all the time, every day, every other day of the week, the other 7 days a week that I spend at home with you? You know,
you're forgetting.
Yeah, but that's
this
your
is all in
feeling
service.
This isn't how they feel about it.
This is all in service to the reveal that she has actually got him the dog that she wants. None of these things are how she really feels
what she's
about
trying
things.
to do.
It's to get him to stay home so she can tease him a little bit with her dogs and then reveal, look, you got your dog. So I don't think that's really her state of mind, and it's not anything.
But I'm saying, like, if I was him and it led up to that, I don't know if I would have made it to the point where she is giving me the dog, because I would have been like, you know what, I'm going to the symphony, and maybe when I get home, we can talk about you paying attention to what I want in my life, and I'll pay attention to what you want, that kind of stuff. Like, because to me, I don't know, it felt like, it's my birthday. Can we just do what I want to do on my birthday? Like, I want to go to the symphony. I want to go have dinner. This is what I had planned. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority that for y'all, it's very romantic to cancel your significant other's plans on their birthday and get them to do something else instead. But to me, I would be like, come on, dude. And I don't know. It seems very, very, very
I want to talk
inconsiderate, in the very least.
I mean, yes and no. If I'm pushing you so hard, if I've gone and canceled your plans and I'm just not like, oh, let's stay home, let's do this. Like, think about it. Do you want to stay home? Do you want to go do that? Like, if I'm giving you this like ultimatum, trying to entice you into it because I have this big reveal and this plan, this thing you've been pissed off at me about, you're not talking to me about, you're only focused on this thing. I'm trying to get to this reveal of, hey, I've come around. I paid attention to the fact that this is what you're telling me you want over and over and over again, and I'm trying to get it to you faster. Like, yeah, I could have given it to you at the beginning of the day, but he's been working. He's been focused on this art thing. We see it over and over again. He's got some deadline or some bullshit going on, and you get pissed off at me for trying to get you your birthday present. This thing, the one thing you've been focused on for weeks at this point, and you're pissed off at me because I'm trying to get it to you. Fuck, I could have said, yeah, we're going to stay home. We're going to stay home and we're going to do this just to give you the dog, and then be like, no, we can go to the symphony. Like, I just wanted to get this out of the way so you weren't still pissed off at me all of your birthday. Like, I am actually listening to you. I am actually doing this. But we don't know if that's what's happening because he gets pissed off.
So we're supposed to be like thankful that this woman that did something that was very inconsiderate before is now like pretending to lean into her considerate act even more. And then at the very end of it, she goes, psych, just kidding. yeah, I take back the inconsiderate act I did a couple weeks ago or whatever it was. And we're supposed to be thankful to her for this? Like, I don't know. He's not likable either. He lied to her and he was mean to her when she was just trying to be helpful. So neither one of them is in the right here. They should just get a fucking divorce, in my opinion. But I don't know. That whole thing of like, her giving the dog at the end, I would be like, okay, I see the subterfuge that you were doing, and I understand that, like, you weren't as bad as it looked, but like this is all to recorrect something that you started. Like I could have just had a dog. I could have a dog. And then you're like, no, I'm allowed to have 5 dogs. You're allowed to have 0 dogs. And I'm going to taunt you with that on your birthday and get you to cancel your plans. And in the end, oh, just kidding. I'll allow you to have 1 of this thing that I have 5 of. Sure. I'll allow it. And we're supposed to go, why, thank you, madam. Thank you, mistress. We appreciate the crumbs that you've thrown us. You know, like, no.
Yes, but yet again, you're putting this on her that she is the one that denied him the thing because he wanted it. He doesn't tell her he wants it until after he's already put it into their house and has lied to her for days, and she finds out.
No, he asked her at the vet. He asked her at the vet, and she said no. He asked her at the vet before that they took it home, I thought.
No, I don't think he does.
No,
I think he just
say
sneaks
something
it
like,
in there.
Wouldn't be nice to have another dog in the house? And she says, no, honey, we have these to worry about, or something, I thought.
She thinks until that scene where they walk up, he's passed it off as it's just a 4th dachshund puppy. She's like, she even mentioned, she's like, oh, there's a 4th one or something like that.
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, he found it after he called or something, and you missed it, or he plays it off like it's just another one of Donka's puppies. Don't worry about it. She's never going to fucking notice, and I'm going to get exactly what I want. Yet again, it's not perfect, but I'm just having a problem with the fact that, yes, it's made to be put on her that she's terrible. They're both terrible, but it's still getting put on her that she's terrible. Yeah, I would have never sent the dog back after it was at my house, but after that point, I'd have been like, no, it's not your fucking dog. It's my dog. I'm the one who's taking care of it. You tried to lie to get a dog. Maybe you can show me that you actually want this dog and you're going to care for it, but at this point, you just gave me another dog. Like, why are you trying to say you want the dog so bad? You gave it to me. You hid it and gave it to me to take care of. So clearly you don't want it.
Can we talk about the party pups?
The party
pups?
Yeah.
I like the
me too.
The gifts are so stupid too. Like, I get the pipe, but like the bone, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I gotta laugh. First of all, I laugh at the party pups, the little dachshunds with bow ties and party hats coming in carrying gifts is adorable.
Yeah.
I cannot deny.
At first, I thought that she gave the dog presents, and I was like, "This is fitting for this woman on his birthday to get him to cancel his plans and sit home and watch me give my dogs presents." That's what I thought this woman was doing. So, anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about the presents because I also laughed when he says, "I wonder what could be in this necktie box." That's a pretty funny line.
Yeah.
And she gives him the music box and it opens and
I wrote down, what a cruel woman, because I didn't realize that there was a dog at the end of this. I was like, so you denied him getting a dog and then you fucking taunt him with, here's a dog bone and look at my dogs giving you presents. And at first I'm like, she's going to give the dog presents, but no, they're for you. But here's a music box with the puppy in the window or whatever song he was playing.
Where has my little dog gone is what the caption
there you go.
says.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is the equivalent of the live action 101 Dalmatians, and she is Cruella DeVille at this point.
Which my thought for like the music box thing was like, you didn't check it first to see what it was, and then I'm like, oh well, probably back in the day she was like, I want this one, and they probably fucked up, grabbed the wrong one. She got it pre-gift wrapped or whatever, and just brought it home and didn't even know that it was the wrong one. So I was like, I'll give you some benefit of the doubt there. Like, you guys, you're probably not wrapping your own gifts and checking them out and all that shit. You're probably like, I want this and this and this. Wrap it up. And you left. Like,
this is just amazing.
I think it was intentional in service to the haha, I'm fucking with you, but we're gonna reveal that you have a dog. Which again,
after the fact, that's what it was.
Maybe,
but at the time,
I don't know.
Like, this woman is so fucking mean. Like, this is the worst kind of surprise party you can throw for a person, and like. Oh my God. And then when he like storms out and he finally gets upset, and one of the lines that he says is, I've had it with these walking wieners. And I'm like,
It certainly calls for a dirty.
As a poly person, I can imagine like he's like, they just opened their relationship and like she's getting a lot more attention than he is in the dating world. And he's, I've had it with these walking wieners, or she's just getting laid. The milkman's sniffing around, something like that.
So, sorry, call back to the name thing.
Tatanka.
She has her whole scene where she's going over the name names, and we get Chloe, Heidi, and Wilhelmina, which, good lord. But anyways, she has her own scene, and he's just like rolling his eyes, and he doesn't give a fuck, and blah, blah, blah. He sneaks this puppy in there, and then he's got his name. It's a boy. What should I be naming this dog?
Yeah.
I care so much about this dog, and blah, blah, blah. But like, what? You didn't care about her. Why the fuck is she supposed to care about you naming these dogs? And you're just like, I got a boy. Let's name him Brutus because it's manly. I got a boy.
It's brutal.
You don't care? You don't care about this? Like, why don't you care? You care about the dogs, right? Like, you don't, why, like, I just saw that. I'm like, go fuck yourself, dude. Go away. Go sleep in your single bed.
What don't you fucking understand?
And if they gave him a sarcastic turn of phrase, that would have been, you know, if he was like, oh, don't you want to help me name my dog? What about Danny or John or Michael or, you know, then that could be funny. But no, for him to literally expect her to care is very short-sighted. But then again, these two people are insufferable, both of them.
Yes.
Yeah, they're both insufferable. Like, as a kid growing up and watching this movie, which apparently a lot of people did, now that I was looking into things, like this is, I don't know if they were playing it on Disney Channel or something was going on, but a lot of people saw this movie as a kid and are like, memory is unlocked. Core memory. But terrible people, growing up and watching it, I didn't like the people. I like the dogs. So,
I know it's just played for comedy, but it's hard for me to like openly laugh at somebody when it looks like they're just being mistreated. You know, it's one thing to have slapstick like, oops, I didn't mean to hit you with that ladder, Mrs. Jones, that kind of thing. But for one person to just be like malicious to another is not funny to me to watch, I guess. So, which kind of ruins a lot of the movie. Spoiler, I didn't really like the movie because a lot of it is just one person or one creature abusing another one and for malicious reasons. And it's not funny to me. So.
We have our first the little shitty dachshunds terrorizing the household and blaming it on
the stepkids, stepsisters and brothers or whatever.
Blaming it on Brutus with the yarn incident in the living room. Where
this scene caused me so much fucking tension. Like, I knew that Bruce is gonna get, like, I was supposed to probably be enjoying it, but I'm just sitting here like grabbing the sides of my seat like these little motherfuckers. I want to kick one of these right out of the goddamn room, you know? Like
this same thing. I'm just like, these assholes running around kids, and they're gonna blame it on him. And like, you get to the end shot of him, and he's just laying on the floor. He's not fully covered in yarn and entangled like they are, and they're like, or she is like, clearly Brutus did it, because my puppies could never. How could they even get up here? How could they do this?
Oh, Brutus, Mark, look what he's done.
Well, now, wait a minute. How do you know he did it?
Well, you're not going to blame it on those little angels, Mark. Just look at them. You can tell they had nothing to do with it.
Fran, one dog couldn't possibly have done all of it.
No, not normally. One dog.
Well, besides, there's no real harm done, honey. It's just a little yarn, that's all.
And, like, they're fucking wrapped up in it. Like, clearly they were rolling around in it, having a fucking yarn rave, and he's just chilling on the floor, got barely any of it on him.
Those little shits.
How are you blaming him?
They all run and jump back in the basket, like little bastards.
Yeah,
that
like
they
what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even like the Rube Goldberg machine that gets made afterwards, and every time whatever his name is, asshole husband takes a step, it pulls something. Like, first off, your lifestyle is so lavish to most of us living in the year that we're currently in that, like, I don't care if your vases and your busts get broken.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if your pond gets stepped in. These kind of like, oh my goodness, look what happened. We don't give a shit about that. Secondly, I don't care that bad things are happening to the husband. That doesn't bother me at all. Third, the only person that's getting injured in this is Brutus, the only innocent creature that we've seen in the entire fucking movie. So again, even this Rube Goldberg machine is just causing me more tension because I'm like, this poor fucking dog is getting abused and neglected and should have stayed with the vet, really.
Yeah, Brutus and Dog, like, we don't see her much after she gives birth. Like, she's around, she's getting pampered, but it's about the puppies, and that's about it. So, like, she's still pretty innocent for the most part. She's not causing havoc and hanging out and doing the things like the puppies.
True.
So, like, hey, what happened to her? Where'd she go? She okay? And B, why did she just get written out of the movie? She doesn't exist anymore.
She went to her home planet and she was never seen again.
Poochie returned to her home planet.
She's fine. She beamed back up. She had the kids and she served her purpose so she can go live her life on the farm. Like
during the curtain call, that actor comes out, takes a bow, and everybody in the audience is clapping and leaning next to each other and going, do you remember her? Where was she in the show?
I do want to point out that it made me a little nervous because there is supposed to be cute and sweet and fun, I think, but there's a fruit bowl on the table that one of the dogs gets on, and it's got grapes, and the dog is like it's about to eat the grapes, and grapes are like deadly to dogs. So
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, knowing that knowledge and watching that scene, that made me tense. I was like, oh no, the doggy's in the grapes. Someone stop that dog from eating those grapes.
I mean, I would say they were smart enough to care and not let them eat the grapes and just replace them, but not homeward
I just love Katie's response when you're like, those dogs are going to eat the grapes, implying that the dogs are going to die. There's a brief pause, and Katie goes, I mean...
Well, no, like, yes, concerned, but my point, there's a movie that was made... it's not Homeward Bound, but it's one of those like animals on a journey, they get lost, whatever. Kittens go over a waterfall, blah, 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 blah. That is the reason we have no animals were harmed in the making of this film, because they just killed a bunch of animals making the shots they wanted. So same time frame ish.
Really? What movie was that?
I could have seen.
Like, I don't even know if I want to know, but... Was it like an old movie in the 50s or something that you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm going to try to look it up because I'm like, I don't like those movies in the first place because they upset me.
There are a couple times in this movie where like I saw the dog like looking like it was in pain. It had its tail between its legs.
The Incredible Journey, I think it was. Another Disney movie.
Yeah, like I guarantee you that some of the dogs in the movie that we're reviewing right now were mistreated, it looked like, on set.
Well,
yeah, like it to
they're
me.
like throwing them into like shelves and stuff on like and whatnot. That was a little distressing because
I don't know if they were like. I'm pretty sure the things I've read, they were all like show dogs. So they're purebred by like show winners, ribbon winners, blah blah blah. They were supposed to be purebred show dogs. So I don't know if they were like how they were handling it, how they were doing it, if they were just super trained because they're show dogs. But yeah, I'm sure they went through some trauma. Anyone in film goes through fucking trauma. They don't care about people. But let me see. I believe it was 1963. If this is the right movie, The Incredible Journey. So 3 years before this movie, The Ugly Dachshund, came out. They were just fucking killing kittens over waterfalls and all kinds of shit because they needed those shots. So
yeah, and this second terror dog incident with the studio and all the paint, that's the one that got, like, you can see the dog is running into the shelf and books are following him and they're squirting paint on him and stuff, and I was just like, okay, I can see that like nothing on film technically harmed these animals, but I can also see that they're, what is the safety protocol in place for throwing a dog at a shelf and letting books fall on it? It's just it's uncontrolled, it's chaos, and it's a little upsetting what is supposed to be, I guess, a fun, cute scene turns into. This is the one where I was tense, like, ooh, can we move on from scaring these dogs? That's all the scene was. A bunch of people scaring dogs and putting it on film.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get that from human sense. Look what happened filming, was it the last Harry Potter movie? Like, you can practice things, you can do shit, and they're still gonna go wrong. Like, you can't guarantee any of that. So, I fully understand. Not something I would be doing with my animals just to make a buck, but...
So Officer
66.
Officer Fuckface shows up and lets him know that he got a promotion for writing him all those tickets.
Yeah, Officer is now a sergeant. Go fuck yourself, Sergeant. And why are you at my house?
Do you have a warrant?
Yeah, there's a burglar going around, so I just want to know if you've seen anything. If you did, you're making door-to-door house calls as a sergeant because there's possibly a cat burglar going around. And that joke. Oh, who would steal a cat?
I didn't realize what flavor of racism this movie was apologizing for at the beginning. So when the cop was running around and looking for cat burglars, I was like, oh, is this where the racism is going to come in? Is he just going to throw out a casual N-word? So this whole scene had a little bit of tension for me because I was like, this is where the racism is going to happen, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? No, it's right afterwards. The cop didn't have anything to do with the racism. He's just a fucking bumbling idiot that fails upwards. And hey, that sounds like a lot of people
realistic.
I've met in my life. Yeah, an older white guy that just fails upwards. Yeah, that happens.
I did write justice for Brutus after the studio incident.
Yeah, I was very happy every time he deals with the cop, and the fact that the cop is very afraid of this dog and just like, fuck yeah, Brutus.
Yeah, Brutus,
woohoo!
Brutus says a cab.
Yeah, Brutus is in on it. He understands. He's one of the club.
I also
wait. This isn't where he chases the cop up the.
That's coming.
Is he?
That's
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that
but
happened.
Brutus looks at him, and Brutus never liked this fucker. He was onto him from day one. So I'm on Brutus's side.
Well, you know,
I did write. I wrote the Dachshund are Israel and the Brutus is the people of Palestine.
I see what you're doing there, but that might like, yeah. But that implies that Brutus is committing genocide, and I like Brutus. Brutus seems like a pretty good boy, and I don't want to have good boy committing genocide. Well, other than that, I get the analogy.
No, he's the people of Palestine, and the Dachshunds are the state of Israel.
I thought you were saying that Brutus was Israel and the cop was Palestine and Israel.
I'm saying
completely different analogy. I get you. But that's implying that Palestine is much bigger and stronger than Israel. Really, they're just holding back.
Fair.
But anyways, just so we don't get canceled, we might want to skip right past that part.
You can pull that out if you want. I just had a note there that
I don't know. It depends on how ballsy I'm going to feel the day that I'm doing the editing. You might hear this in the final cut.
Maybe err on the side of caution and don't piss Kelly off the next few days.
But now is where we do get the cop in the tree because.
Wait, so when did the stepdogs and the racist Asian
that's not until later.
Yeah, it's not till later.
Okay, because at this point, I have decided in the movie that the stepdogs are a natural disaster. They are up there with comic book villains. We need a comic book hero to step in to fight these evil stepdogs. We need somebody like Spider-Man or Squirrel Girl or one of those to step in because Brutus he's not able to handle these creatures on his own, and they're already like holding sway, mental power over the family. So it's just a matter of time before they start to take over the lesser Los Angeles area than the greater Los Angeles area.
They're Magneto. They're the bad X-Men. They're bad mutants, and someone's got to get them.
This story is traumatic because we have a supervillain, but no superheroes to fight them, and it's making me. I was
just like real life.
They're puppies. They'll learn as long as their family makes sure that it's like they're children being raised by hapless idiots. Someone needs to help them, or they are fucked. We're in that stage of they're still trying to get there. They're barely alive at this point. You got to teach them how to human.
So this dumb fucking cop sees this man walking around the outside of his own house in a robe with a flashlight and goes, "Oh, this must be the cat burglar." And they have Brutus in the garage because he's barking and being too loud. And so now this cop is trespassing on these people's property. Brutus gets out and chases him up a tree. And I'm going to write my series of notes here. I have, fuck yeah, Brutus hates cops. Fuck this cop, hell yeah. Good boy Brutus. And this has turned into Cujo for cops. Because when he gets into his car, it's dead. The next morning he finally gets down out of the tree. And,
he can barely talk. It's a horse.
and Brutus is now staring at him and won't let him out of the car. And if you've ever read or seen Cujo, a large portion of it is them being stuck in the car while this rabid dog is like on the prowl outside.
Which also, how much does this dog get a terrible vibe from you that it stayed on top of your ass up a tree all night and only leaves when its owner calls you up? He's not trained. He's still a puppy at this point. He is not trained to go after anybody. He's not trained to defend this house or these people or anything. At this point, these people have been kind of fucking horrible to him. The only things he likes in that house are his siblings because that's what he thinks he is and what he knows. And nope. Nope, he doesn't like you so much you are stuck up that tree, and if he sees you again, he's coming after you again. Like, what did you do to dogs? What did you say to him that we didn't see? Because clearly you fucked up somewhere.
And I think we all know how this scene would have played differently if it existed in today's world, right?
Yes. Brutus would be shot dead.
Like, this scene would have been very short. Yeah. The Brutus would have been shot within the first 5 seconds of the scene, and then the rest of the scene would have been filling out paperwork, the family crying about Brutus's death, and then the cops sending them a bill for the cost of the bullet and the bullet casing and the cost of having to bring people out and do the scene paperwork. So the family would have been charged an extra like $5-10 for it.
I mean, depending on where you were at, we wouldn't have even gotten to Brutus. One of the men would have pulled a gun and been shot before Brutus even got a chance to intervene. Like, someone's creeping around outside this house. Bang! I can't tell who it is. There's a cat burglar running around, bang. Or someone's in my yard. Who the fuck is in my yard in the middle of the night? I have a gun in my robe for some fucking reason, bang. Like,
he's failed upwards. He seems very, like, opportunistic, a little bit cowardly, and as soon as a dog growls at him, he's just going to pull his fucking gun and unload an entire clip into the center mass of that dog. That's the end of that story. And that's the end. We see the end of Brutus.
You cannot destroy an idea. Don't you understand? That's ancient knowledge. You cannot destroy an idea.
So Brutus says a cab, and then it's time for our white suburban Oriental soiree.
This is and honestly, like, when I say I don't like this movie, it would be very easy for me to hang my hat on the racist, horrible bullshit that happens in this scene and a few scenes afterwards. But that's not even why. If you lift the racism, that's why it's doubly kind of offensive, because it's so stupid. This movie did not need those racist moments for it to exist at all. And it wasn't funny either. It's just, that's why it's not even like horribly offensive. It's just like, God, you thought this was a good idea. It's embarrassing.
It's literally just them saying Ryan instead of lion over and over because they quote unquote,
and Rook instead of look.
Yeah, and
Rook, Ryan.
So
over and over.
That's the joke. You know, like, do better, people.
And apparently Chinese people are so dumb they can't tell the difference between a Great fucking Dane and a lion, even though they have fucking chow chows which look kind of like a lion, and they know the difference because chow chows are one of the most loved breeds in all of China and have been for like thousands of years or something.
Yeah, like I don't think they're the only ones. Isn't the guy who is getting the alcoholic who's getting put off by his wife, like, you're not drinking today. Go sit down, go eat some food. And he's like, there's some puppies in there. And then they open it and they're like, oh, there's a monster in the thing. Like, I thought there are other people doing it. Not that I'm excusing it, because I looked up the races of the actors or trying to figure out their lineage for a reason that happens in this scene. But I'm also trying to figure out, like, theme parties in the 60s, because I know they did them. Like, why? Like, were they all, like, and we do it now?
Yeah, I was going to say, people do it now, so.
Like, this is really popular. Let's do, we're going to have a powwow. We're going to do a luau. Like, we're going to do, like, that's insulting.
Theme parties with complete racist
like,
themes.
We're going to Rastafarian party. Like, yeah, that's not a thing.
Yeah, so it's like a frat in the early 2000s, too.
Yeah, so I was trying to discern, like, which ones were popular in the 60s, because I'm guessing this was popular in the 60s at some point, not excusing it, but to have this stupid bullshit happen. But my issue with it is I don't remember which man it is who's walking around trying to serve food or whatever, and he's like, it's kombu, it's stuffed seaweed or something. He says that's not what that is.
Yeah,
like, it is a dried seaweed, yes, but I have it to make ramen broth. It's not something you necessarily want to stuff and eat right off the bat. It's not nori or anything. Like, it's thicker, it's dried, salty. Like, as far as I know, it's used for broth making and ramen and other things like that. I don't think I've ever seen anybody like, I'm gonna stuff it and make sushi out of this today. It's not how that works.
Wait, are you telling me the producers of the show didn't, like, research into Chinese etiquette?
Oh, I expected them not to, but I was more like, so did you say anything that this isn't a food item? Like, you're portraying this character already, so maybe you just started letting shit fly because you need the money. No, I'm not coming after you, but you didn't. Are you laughing inwardly? Like, this isn't a fucking thing. These stupid white people in the 60s trying to, like, I want to know what happened in their brains, because they had to have read that line and read that part of it and been like, no, Why? No, not a thing.
Speaking of stupid white people in the 60s, they don't even get their cultural appropriation right because they have a band playing and they're dressed to the nines as like, Japanese serfs and whatnot. But the music is like Italian polka.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Like it doesn't make sense.
60s.
It's like the whole.
We know that
the yard,
these people are morons. Like there's no.
The yard is done to the nines in like paper lanterns and pagodas, and the band is dressed like literal, samurai and Japanese serfs and stuff, and they're playing polka.
And it's not like it's just an overall Asian stereotypical bullshit because it's not Japanese, it's not Chinese, it's not Korean. They just kind of went, this is Asian, right? Put it in there.
Everything Asian.
Like that's all it is.
Surprising. Is it really surprising that these people didn't know how to blend cultures in a meaningful way when their entire party is completely discombobulated by a fucking dog? One dog being led into their party. And I don't mean discombobulated as in something got knocked over. No, watch the people in the scene. They're actively afraid. They're like, and running and like clumping into clumps. There might have been an active shooter in this situation and they would have responded the exact same way. So yes, these people are fucking morons. So no.
Yeah.
I did write that Harry the drunk was cool.
Yeah, I was fine with him.
I liked Harry.
Someone needed to cut him some slack because he would have been a great fun time at this party.
He would have sat down with the dogs and played with them.
Yeah, now, he would have been wonderful.
2 notes about Brutus here. 1, Brutus is dumb as fuck. I'm sorry. Like, he's running around in a circle around a pole and he gets stuck and he doesn't know how to unrun himself. I mean, I've seen dogs do it before. I was about to say,
so have you ever owned a dog? Because, like, every one of mine does that shit.
That's dumb as fuck. You kind of deserve what you got. But at the end, he does get his bone. At the end of all this, the scene ends with Brutus walking away with his bone, and I put worth it. That's 100% worth it.
Flawless victory.
Yeah, they're blaming him like he did something wrong. Meanwhile, you set up a party to sneak your way into trying to get your dog to win a fucking dog show. That dog runs off and steals the bone of the dog you've chained up outside in a small little yard. The dog that is the size of a fucking mini horse, and he wants his bone. Good for you. Go get your bone. Fuck Chloe. Chloe, I hope you lose that dog show. Good luck, bro.
Yeah.
Because how fucking dare you? Leave Brutus alone.
So, after the disastrous, horribly racist Oriental party, the vet puts the idea in the husband's head that he should show Brutus for his own sort of award thing. So that's going to come back later.
It's foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm. We finally get the oh look, Brutus is good because he alerts the trash man from compacting one of the little boxes.
Oh yeah.
He almost pulled the shredder on the little doggy.
Cowabunga.
And so now, Brutus is a hero.
And how many was I the only one that was in a little way going, I mean,
no, they try the first time when he's chased the sergeant up the tree. I've already lost his name. What the fuck? Mark? Mark tries to convince Fran that he's good and worthy of being part of the family. Because look, he's protecting the house. He's protecting his family.
Oh, yeah.
He blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, but he has a cop cornered and you're just fucking around. We can talk about this in a minute. Let the cop go before we get in more trouble.
That whole scene was
could go
funny
bad.
as hell. Both the cop and the woman are aware of the fact that the cop is currently being held hostage and the man is using it as a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That was an interesting little thing where it was like, for the first time in the movie, I sided with the cop and the woman going, no, we can talk about all that. Can we get the cop out of the tree and get him some water? Can we start with that, please?
Nah, he can go get his own water. You brought yourself into this situation. You got stuck in a tree because you couldn't keep your nosy ass out of someone else's property. That's on you, bro.
I get your energy. I think it's a Geneva Convention thing where you have to give somebody water if you've kept them prisoner for a certain amount of time.
Hey, no, the dog kept you prisoner because the dog's got to get your nose out of someone else's. And
Brutus is dumb as fuck, as we've established. So
right,
he's going to bring you some muddy water, maybe, but it'll be water by his culture standards.
He'll bring you some water. You might not want to drink it, but he did what he was supposed to do. Now be on your way.
When the husband is trying to defend the dog, one of the things that she brings up is she starts bitching about the cost of the dogs. And I'm like, why don't you just throw some of the shitty dogs away? Like, you have like fucking 5 dogs.
Throw the shitty dogs away. Listen to yourself.
But
that is a line that I literally wrote. Throw the shitty dogs away.
She's complaining about the things that like they've destroyed, like that, because she thinks it's just Brutus, as we've already discussed. Like, this much money, and then all the puppies get in the bed. Brutus sees that Brutus gets inside because he wants to join his sisters. He thinks he is one of them, and that size. And he jumps up on the bed, and she's like, "Bed $200 or $250," and blah blah blah. Like, I'm surprised you weren't injured because you're a small woman, and that is a large dog. And
there's something to be said about that dog acting like it's. I mean, but we've all seen that before, and a lot of us have probably owned dogs like that before that are convinced that they're lap dogs, and they are not. They think they're puppies, and they are not, and they inadvertently break things or hurt people and stuff like that. But I don't know. That's part of the what I love about being a dog person is that like that those dogs are so cuddly and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, even my aunt's dogs with all the cats like running around, they act like cats sometimes. Like they don't know. My niece spent a lot of time. She is one, so she spends a lot of time at home, and there have been dogs in and out. One of them passed away, and she will bark like a dog and like woof woof like it's a dog. Like she sees a dog and that's her instinct is like I can talk to you, and she starts like barking like I know your language, like ridiculously smart for her tiny age, but like she's just and I say smart, but like not because she barks at dogs, because she realizes that's how they speak, but like she recognizes letters in the alphabet, and my preschoolers can't fully do that. Like she could looked at my sweater and was like, that's an S and that's a this, and I'm like, you're one, can you calm down? You're the size of a 3-year-old already. Your brain doesn't need to be there. But it's what you're around. It's the phenomenon of kids right now and a certain age range, usually preschoolish, speaking with Australian accents because they're watching a lot of Bluey. Like it's just it's nurture versus nature, and that's what they're getting.
I used to work with a young kid all the time that he was speaking with a British accent every once. He would get into a British accent mode and speak with a British accent for the rest of the day for a while. And we figured out that we honed it down to where he was getting his accent was from Peppa the Pig.
And I've done it.
And like, I've definitely done it. How did we learn how to say words? We learn how to say words from people that we listen to. And if you have a child that is learning to say words from a source that has an accent, they're probably going to develop that accent at times. That's super cool to me. I think that's and I didn't even like the parents, or some people were like, did you try to get him to stop? And I'm like, no, why would I get it? He's fine with it if he's happy with it. That British accent might come in later. It might be helpful later when he's trying to audition for a role or something,
Yeah, like spend enough time watching one thing. Spend enough time watching Doctor Who and isolating yourself from the other world, or just a bunch of British TV shows, which I have done. And the first words out of your mouth are going to have an accent.
And I ended up watching a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger films, so I have a very specific skill set.
Yeah, like it just happened. Spend enough time around my dad and talk to no one else, you might start having a little Jamaican tinge onto some of the things you say. It's just what happens. It's what you're hearing. It's what your brain wants to know.
I think that's fucking cool.
Been there, done that.
I would love to meet your dad at some point, because that's just that's awesome. I would love to hear the accent.
Can we talk about how insane it is that he holds up a picture of a Great Dane to Brutus and is like, "You are a Great Dane. See, this is what you are."
Yeah, and it's supposed to be some kind of epiphany moment for the dog. The dog is like, "Oh." Have you ever seen a dog with a mirror? Have you? It doesn't work that way.
Nothing in between those eyes. But this brings me back to my point of he doesn't give a fuck about this dog most of the time until it gets in trouble. Like, you have this huge ass dog, and not to say that they don't have a beautiful home and a nice yard and everything and a good backyard for the Dachshunds, not for a fucking Great Dane. Like, you should be taking that dog on walks. It should have already been experiencing other dogs and humans and everything else, whether it's a puppy or not. Take it so it can run around. Like, it needs exercise. It's just been cooped up in your house while you complain at your wife that she's not doing enough with your dog or she doesn't like it. Like, you're doing nothing with him and complaining that he isn't loved enough by everyone else. Like, you don't love him. What are you talking about?
And after that, I have only one more note because the end of this movie is so predictable and bland to me.
The dog is largely to the husband a status symbol the entire movie. That's why it's important that he has the name Brutus. That's why it's important that he's a big Great Dane with good caring. That's why it's important that he does well at the dog show at the end. He doesn't actually care about the dog. He cares about the image of having the dog. He values he wants a painting of him with his dog by his side. That's what he really wants a painting of. He doesn't actually, like, you don't see him like laying around and cuddling with the dog. Any of us, if we had a Great Dane like that, if I was at home, chances are the dog would be like cuddling on my lap, or we'd be cuddling in bed, or he'd have his paw on my leg or something like that all the time. There'd be a closeness there that we don't see. And obviously it's a movie, so we're not going to see exactly the same thing, but it doesn't even seem like they try to allude to that. Like she's much more cuddly with the dachshunds than he is with him.
But she gives him like, she takes him inside to give him something really nice. He did after he saves the puppy and all the things, she starts to like open up, and she's clearly is not happy that things are being destroyed, and she's trying to train these dogs to be in the show. That's her job. That's what she does. She spent years and years doing this. And now she's taking care of this other dog, and it's not exactly what she wants. Her husband's not paying attention to it. Her husband's not paying attention to her, to the point that, it's a status symbol, but the only reason he puts the dog in the dog show is to rub it in her face because he wants it to win. And as soon as it wins, he goes to find her. He's like, no, fuck the dog. Yeah, it won. Good for the dog. Let me go rub this in my wife's face because that's the only thing I care about. He doesn't care about the dog. He doesn't care about her dogs. He doesn't care about her. He cares about being better than her and trying to rub shit in her face. I will say, and I forgot because it comes up, the doctor is at the vet is at the party, and him like convincing him to put Brutus in the dog show and talking to him about it. He is fucking thriving. He is so happy about the chaos. He looks so happy. I want the Vets movie because he's
manipulated
like
everybody into the
mastermind.
He probably said, you know what, you should throw a Japanese party. I know the perfect people for it.
He cares enough that he is the one, like, skip ahead to the dog show, get in the dog show, all the things are going on. Brutus wins the first blue ribbon. He's acting like a dachshund because he sees a dachshund, and then he sees a Great Dane, and he starts acting like a Great Dane, and the judges are like, who is this? You switch dogs, blah, blah, blah. And then he ends up winning that category.
Again, all the more reason why the mistreatment of Brutus. This whole movie is supposed to be a comedy, but it's a tragedy where Brutus is the tragic figure. Like, everything's shitty. He just has a fucking cloud over his head. He's Pigpen. Everything bad that could happen in the world. He is Murphy's Law. They should have named him Murphy. That would have made more sense.
Yeah, which is very ugly duckling. But like, so he wins the ribbon. Mark takes off to rub it into his wife's face. He doesn't know how his wife has done in this competition. This is the culmination of everything that she's been working towards.
Even in Brutus's moment of glory.
She gives him his space to do his art. She does whatever, blah, blah, blah. She's not a great wife, but she tries a little bit.
Yeah, whatever she does, he has to do better.
But this is the one thing she's been trying to do. She has been focused on. Like, this is her calling to her, I guess. And he doesn't give a flying fuck about her or how she's done or how the dogs have done or anything. He just wants to rub it in her face that he's done. And he did this secretly. She doesn't even know he's there doing this. She just thinks that he's ignoring her and her interests, and she's on her own. And then he pops up and she's like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. But he takes off on the dog, leaves Brutus there with the vet. So the vet is like, well, I'll take him into the next round of the competition, and blah, blah, blah. He wins the next round of the competition, and then he goes to like best in show and everything, which is when, Mark comes back. He realizes this because Chloe came in.
I will say to his credit though, his intent is to go rub it in his wife's face, but when he sees how upset she was that she didn't come in first, he does pocket the ribbon and try not to show her. So.
Yeah, but his instincts are really asshole. That says something about a person where your first instinct.
Right. Yeah, but yet again, he's just lying to his wife. So how is that gonna play out later?
Right. His first instinct is to be like, you stupid bastard, my dog won.
Yeah. His first instinct is to gloat to the person that he's supposed to be in love with, that is his number one person. His first instinct is to make her feel like shit.
Yeah, and yet again, this is just another moment where, as his wife or whatever, like, if I'm looking at this, I'm like, so you brought a dog to a dog show. It won. It's now a fucking show-winning dog, and you just left it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, what? I've been raising this animal. You brought it here without telling me, and you just abandoned it somewhere.
And of course, reaffirming that if he even put a little bit of time and effort into it, he could be much better than the woman at something that she's been doing her whole life.
Right.
He can be better than her in a matter of a couple of months.
Right.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Okay, so the vet sees this. He just keeps seeing this man is just like, I want this dog. Look at how great my dog is. You can show her that this dog is better and have it earn a spot in her life, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, we come back to him walking around with Brutus and he's like, best in breed or whatever the next category is. And now he's doing best in show and he's walking around with him. And he's just happy and like, look at my puppy doing this thing. Like the vet clearly still loves this dog. He's still in this dog's life months and months later, keeps checking in on it, calling, seeing how he's doing.
Yeah, the vet
all of
should have
these
kept
things.
the dog.
Like at that point, I see you just abandoned him to rub some shit in your wife's face. This is my dog again. Sorry, I'm taking my dog back. You don't care about it. This is abusive. Like I would not have been like, ha ha ha, look at he won a ribbon. Here you go, have the dog back. Like, no.
Yeah,
My
imagine if
dogs.
this was an analogy for child stardom, you know, like as soon as your child wins a pageant, then you just immediately leave their side to go rub it in your spouse's face that your favorite child got, you know.
Yeah. I was just ugh.
It was
Gross.
just, that's
Gross.
horrible. Well, I mean, we knew from the beginning that this couple did not, I mean, maybe they care about each other, but they don't know how to care about each other in a meaningful, honest way.
It's kind of how it is because at the end of it, she comes around and it's like, well, no more shows. Like clearly, like she's learned something, probably because she lost and he won, but like I'm gonna say it's less malicious than just she lost. But she comes out like, no more dog shows. I don't think we're gonna compete in dog shows anymore. She's gonna focus on, you know, their relationship and maybe they can have a kid and take care of like whatever it is. That's what she comes to at the end of it.
Having kids is the worst idea ever.
And he isn't there. He hasn't had, like, at least she's got some sort of character arc. She starts off as the main villain. She kind of comes around to it. She's not perfect, but at the end of it, she's like, nope, this is what I need to focus on. We should be focusing on this. He's just like, yeah, smile, kiss, doesn't agree. Like, if that's the trajectory after this is she has come around, she becomes a better wife, she cares for these animals, and he's still just going, yeah, whatever, lady, get out of my hair. I got things to do. How's my boy? Like, that's what we're left
Their
with.
treatment of each other. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm completely anti the wife and pro the husband, because I think both of them have done some really horrible things. And if I'm looking back at, like, if we were to look at the themes of this movie, to me, they're just two that stand out. One, according to this movie, step siblings are jerks. Two, reaffirm your boundaries so you don't end up in a relationship like this one. Like, really think about, like, what kind of things will you tolerate in a relationship? What kind of things do you need in a relationship? Do you need somebody to listen to you and embrace your hobbies? Do you need somebody that, you know, will not lie to you? Do you have a boundary of having a partner that doesn't lie to you? Then this movie might help you reaffirm that, hopefully. Or you walk out of this going, you know, I want to date somebody just like that. And I don't know.
Brutus wins. They end up with the first, second, third place, best in show. They get all the ribbons, one of each. They put them up on the thing, and then, like I said, they come to this. Well, she comes to this consensus and this aha moment of, I haven't been focused on the right things. I'm gonna focus on us and, you know, taking care of our animals, whatever. So the music was George Bruns. He did The Sword in the Stone. This is the first project he did since The Sword in the Stone. It's very sitcom-y. Very like normal 50s and 60s, Leave It to Beaver, Bewitched. Oh, I love Bewitched. Anyways, very sitcom-y. Yeah, the same thing. The Polka. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking about that. Clearly not Asian, not Japanese, not anything. Not even close. I did really like when Chloe's on the piano and you could tell like the little staccato thing going back and forth, and I'm like, damn, put her in a show. She doesn't need to be like a prize-winning ribbon dog. She needs to be playing pianos in the shows. Like, put her up on a stage. Yeah, music, nothing really stuck out to me in any way, honestly, except for the polka. Do you guys have any music notes or anything for it?
No.
I didn't think so.
Aside from the weird off-culture music during the Japanese polka party, that was the only thing that really stood out to me.
Japanese polka party.
I mean, that's what it was.
Kind of by nature, that is what it was.
This is the kind of world that Fallout is referencing with
Yeah,
their music,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
This nuclear family with the milkman coming by, just throw some nuclear reactors into all their stuff and give them some floating robots, and you've got the Fallout universe before the bombs.
So the reception for the movie and everything was basically all around. So like the New York Times thought it was thin and contrived, a one-joke comedy. Variety put it up to pretty much the same thing, but great family entertainment. Dog lovers will probably be into it. It's a dog movie. Like people looked at it and went, yeah, this is a decent family movie. Like it's nothing special. It's nothing terrible. It's 66, so clearly they didn't have any issues with the racism and things in it. Very slapstick.
Clearly people had
Three
lower
Stooges.
standards in the 60s if they thought this was a good family movie. Like,
honestly,
people just were,
I don't know. Look at some of the movies people make now that are family movies. I feel like some of them are right.
I don't
next
even
to
know.
it.
I'm reading the
good
same
point.
reception reviews, and I don't even know if they consider it a good family movie. It seems to be like, well, this is passable if you have kids or if you like dogs.
It is one of the movies of the year.
First-rate family entertainment. Yeah, and then just
who
lots
watches this
of
and thinks
people
first-rate
thinking
anything?
this is childhood memories. It unlocked something. It's it's not amazing, but yeah, just good childhood memories. Watch this thing growing up. Blah blah blah. blah.
Anybody that says this movie was really, really good, I would want to like grab them by the lapel and say, who do you work for? Who's paying you for this?
The monthly film bulletin review is pretty much with me. It says, the story is a featherweight affair in which the invention frequently runs thin and seeks sanctuary in slapstick. Apart from some uncommonly pretty color photography, it is undoubtedly the dogs who take the honors.
Yeah, it's no one's like, oh, these humans did a great job. They're like, wow, those dogs are great. Which, yeah, it tracks. It's a 93-minute movie, and then box office was 6.2 million estimated in U.S. and Canada rentals. So clearly, people were into it for a little bit at some point.
So, guys, what did you think of this movie?
You really want to do this? Here. Now, yes. Okay, let's do it.
What would you say, Katie? Give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I mean, for my nostalgia alone, I give it a thumbs up. And like, yeah, if you just want to watch something like lighthearted, not too crazy, watch some dogs, be beautiful, give it a shot. It's not super long. And as we've already pointed out, the offensive things, there's some things that you might enjoy about it. But if you're on Kelly's side and you're already like, no, absolutely not. Don't bother. But yeah, I don't think it's anything special. It's not anything amazing. I will say, sorry, the other movies I was looking at, have you guys seen the very viral like sound clip of it's about two gay men dodging the draft, and I can't remember the name of it, but the sound clip is this woman is fleeing this apartment and she's stepping in flowers.
My petunias!
And the gay man comes out, yeah, my petunias, and she's like, they're not petunias, they're azaleas, or my azaleas, and they're not azaleas, they're petunias, and I may not know my flowers, but I know a bitch when I see one. I watched that movie the other day because I was like, I just gotta watch this. Like, it's so fucking good. I almost went with that movie just so we could talk about that scene in the sound clip because it's so iconic. It's so good. But yeah, it's a 60s movie. If you're not into 60s movies and want to see, you didn't grow up watching I Love Lucy and like 60s sitcoms and everything, don't bother. You'll probably enjoy watching something else. If you're going for a nostalgia trip, do it. It brings back some memories and some little things and conversations that like you probably had when you watched this movie. Keith, what'd you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I don't want to say thumbs down necessarily, but it's just I wouldn't watch this again probably. It didn't do enough for me, and it didn't do enough for me positively, and it did enough negative that I have no interest in ever seeing it again. So I guess that's technically a thumbs down. I wouldn't really recommend this to anyone that I know. I can't say. I did enjoy seeing cute dogs. If you can stomach or wrap your head around some pretty egregious racism, but you want to see some cute dogs, then sure, I guess.
How about no?
But not really my cup of tea overall. I didn't absolutely hate it. I'll say that.
Okay, Callie, what about you?
Well, I don't think it's surprising anybody when I say absolutely not. Would not. I thumbs down. I would recommend this for somebody like if you have nostalgia for the '60s, like that one review that I think Keith said was right, that the color palette, it's beautiful to look at. It's very pleasant on the eyes.
With their fake grass, their astroturf grass.
Yeah, their astroturf grass and their little like 6-inch deep pond in their backyard. Like. Wow. Is this what people in the 60s actually had, or is this what they just imagined the Joneses had? But yeah, anyways, I did not enjoy it. I thought that the relationship between the two was strained and abusive / neglectful between the two of them. I thought that's an example of how you not treat your significant other. The dogs I wasn't able to enjoy the dog scenes because they were traumatic, because I was expecting one of the dogs to get yelled at for it. And some of the dogs looked very uncomfortable even during the filming scenes. I thought the dogs were the best pups in the show, and they were wonderful, and I would have cuddled those dogs and snuggled them. So I give the dogs a 5 out of 7, perfect score, but I would give the humans involved in this a thumbs down. I would not watch this again, nor would I recommend anybody else watch it. If you want to put it on, but put it on mute just so you can see the pretty backgrounds. But even then, like, just avert your eyes from the trauma. So
I find this very funny how you guys have reacted to this movie about the trauma of the dogs and how it's so racist. It's like, I know things we've watched, and you didn't have this visceral of a reaction to the things that I've had a visceral reaction to as a person of color and a female, where I've stood up and been like, no, why are we watching torture porn? Why are we doing this? And you're like, what? And that, well, yeah, no, I see it now that you mentioned it. But this dog movie was the straw on the camel's back. Not to make light of it, just the visceral reaction we've gotten out of you guys versus some of the other things we've watched.
Absolutely. Well, 2 things to say that. One, that's one of the main reasons why we want to have like everybody different opinions than the standard fucking regular bullshit. But secondly, like, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the 60s in general, as we talked about off pod, but I was hoping that if we look at movies from the 60s, that it would open the window to some stuff that I'm going to appreciate more, that I can look at 60s cinema and say, this is better than I've been giving it credit for my entire life. This movie did not.
Well, and there's the whole thing where, like, when we talked about it yesterday, I specifically was going for things that weren't necessarily the most popular and like something that meant more to me. I could have easily done Jungle Book or 101 Dalmatians or Rosemary's Baby or any of those other things, but I left them for the people who don't watch older movies, because I do have this weird little spot in my cinematic repertoire where I'm like, oh yeah, no, here's a whole list of these movies, the producers, fucking all of these Little Shop of Horrors, which I don't like the 60s ones, and I don't really care for the 60s producers, even though it's, fucking supposed to be the best thing on the planet. But yeah, I specifically went for some nostalgia and something that was just like, I haven't seen this in a while. Let's just watch it.
Yeah, and no offense to your childhood and the nostalgia. Like, I love The Never-Ending Story, and when somebody watches it for the first time in 2024 and they go, oh wow, these special effects are really creepy, and this would creep me out as a kid, or maybe they don't appreciate it as much as I do, and I'm like, you know what? I did watch it through rose-colored glasses. I grew up with that movie, so of course I'm going to see it a little bit better than other people would.
Yeah, that's another thing. Don't take any of this with offense when we come to some of these movies. If you really like them and we're tearing into them, or one of us is tearing into them, we don't have that. I can guarantee you we're gonna
I'm a musician and a librarian. Like, what do I know?
Yeah, we're going to hit a shit ton of movies that you both love. You keep talking about Conan. I don't like that movie. If we watch that movie and talk about it, expect me to rant about it.
I think that would be wonderful, and I look forward to it someday.
There are a lot of movies that we're going to hit that I'm going to tear into that you guys just love. Like, I expect it to happen. When Keith and I get on a roll and we start making Kelly watch horror movies and everything, expect him to hate it. That doesn't mean that it's a personal opinion. It's how we're feeling. It's how we're viewing the movie. Keith and I are going to go off and have a glee, blood-filled, happy, fun time when we're watching these movies, and Kelly's going to be cringing. Like, it's just what it is. Like,
yes, he will be. He will be miserable. Yep.
Yeah, and you know what? Fire off in the comments. Let us know on Facebook or whatever things we have available by the the time you hear this voice, let us know there. Tell us what you think. If you disagree with us, let us know there. Review us 5 stars. Say, oh my God, these cool cats are amazing. And then in the comments say, what the fuck was wrong with you? How did you not identify with Chloe or the second dog or Danka or whatever the fucking...
And if you want, please, by all means, try to have discourse with us on our Facebook and everything. We have a Discord. We have a Twitch with nothing on it at the moment. We have multiple avenues for you to contact us and have conversations with.
We're recording ahead of time. We might have something by the time we write this. We're speaking to the future.
Yeah, the projects in the works and things happening. But we have multiple avenues. You don't need to personally message us your thoughts and comments when we need them elsewhere. Apple,
I love it when people message me because that shows me that you're listening and you're engaged. But for me, it's a lot of times people will message me hey, remember in episode 3 when you said yada yada, you're wrong. And I'm I don't even remember saying that. I don't that was not just to get too far behind the pod, but that was several weeks ago for me. And that was a conversation I had with my friends a month ago. I don't remember exactly what it was. Hell, I might even disagree with myself if I listen to it again.
Yeah, we've got multiple avenues of ways to contact us and talk to us about these movies. If you message me, you know who I am. Or you've deduced who I am. If I've never met you before and you start messaging me on Facebook, I'm probably not going to answer you. Not just to be rude or to just be that's weird, you're a stranger, please don't talk to me. I don't use Facebook. I have it for work and other things like that. I'm not on there just scrolling, having fun conversations with people. It's not how I use it. So I might not even see it. But please don't do that. But yet again, this is not just us personally doing things. We are having a podcast about it.
Maybe we should be having a hashtag or something. We can discuss this all on Twitter or something.
Yeah, we're trying to have a conversation publicly, not privately with you guys about it. Because that's what makes it fun. This isn't just me going off I don't want people talking to me. I mean, I don't, people. But I want, it's a public conversation.
The whole point of the podcast is that we have these private conversations. We make them public. We're trying to commodify the bullshit that we do with our friends because we live in a capitalist hellhole. Come on, get with the program.
Yes. So please engage with us.
And I mean, beyond that, how hard is it as an adult to make friends? Think about it. How many times are you sitting there going, oh, I wish I had someone to talk to about this movie or this video game or whatever it is. That's what we're here for. We want to be friends with you. We want to have these conversations. That's what the Discord and the Twitch and everything is for. We want to hang out with people and talk about things we enjoy or don't enjoy. It's friendship. We're here for your entertainment, friendship, and things you want to discuss and rant about and have a good time with.
Exactly.
Yeah, not yet again.
So
get
with us on get with us on Facebook. Send us an email. Screen share and chill at Gmail, I think, is SS and chill at Gmail.
How much more fun is it to rant about a movie with a group of people? How much fun is it to sit there and hate watch Twilight and make jokes about it the entire time, like your Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Are we doing Twilight?
I would love to do all of Twilight and some of those movies. They're so much fun, but it would be a live watch thing.
I've seen half of a Twilight movie before. I haven't seen them all.
It's not as fun if you're just talking about it because then you can get serious. I want to watch these things and make jokes about it live because that's what I do. But
we could do an MST3K type thing, maybe.
That would be a Twitch Discordy thing, maybe Patreon. Put your suggestions and stuff in there. But public conversations. We want to have a good time and hang out with you guys and hopefully have you guys also have a good time and make some friends and
let's just keep it public.
Yeah. Private, it's not as fun if you're just complaining about something to one other person and going, well, that was a good 5 minutes. Who else can I talk to? No one is watching The Ugly Dachshund. Not really. You need to find the internet people to be able to discuss some of the things we're bringing up. So
yeah, we're probably not helping our algorithm numbers by doing obscure movies from the
I mean, yes and no. Like I said, depends on the movies. Yeah,
you never know. There's somebody out there going, I wish somebody was talking about the ugly dachshund.
Why is no one talking about the ugly dachshund?
What the hell is wrong with the world today?
With nostalgia and things we actually like and want to discuss versus trying to just keep on top of it and talking about all of the Fast and Furious series because that's what everybody else is doing. Well, you've got plenty of things on that market.
and the best laid plans of mice and men, as like even Katie and I were just talking yesterday about how, like, you know, today's probably going to be a pretty short episode because, or tomorrow's going to be a pretty short episode because, you know, Ugly Dachshund, what can we really talk about that much? It's going to be a shorter episode and we're going to probably make a few jokes and be on our way. And here we are, you know. It's not exactly going to be a 30-minute episode editing, like High Life.
Like this isn't. Well, there's plenty of things that can be edited out for sure. But like,
how about new?
I don't know. Come talk to us. Hang out. Try to make some friends publicly. Interact. Review. Put us on iTunes. Get more eyes on it. Get more people to talk to.
Yes, leave us reviews. Leave us reviews on iTunes or the podcatcher of your choice. Come talk to us on our Facebook. Reach out to us any way you can. But definitely the reviews help. Let your friends know if we did a movie that they would find interesting. Let them know about us. Maybe they want to start at the beginning of the stack and go from the beginning. So
yeah, keep eyes out.
I don't even know if I want to listen to our first episode. We probably sound so cringy, but
I listened to them. I've listened to them a few times. Back and forth doing work and report cards and stuff. Yeah, so if you keep your eyes open for Patreon things and Ko-Fi and, you know, announcements and all that for interactions and everything. And if you're related to me, stop recommending movies to me. I don't care. Your recommendations are not things I'm probably interested in.
We have a system for selecting movies. We have our system down. Maybe we'll look at if you donate a certain amount of money, then maybe you can recommend a movie specifically or something. But that's something that we don't have that yet. So we appreciate the recommendations. You can.
Yeah, are we letting them behind the curtain for how we're picking movies? Are we doing that yet?
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
No. We just pick movies for each other. That's our entire system. Is we just pick movies for each other.
Yeah.
Speaking of curtains, it is time to close them and bid our movie
You mean
friends.
I have to say goodbye to the Ugly Dachshund for the last time? I can never talk about this movie ever again.
Never again.
Oh,
I'm gonna play this at your funerals.
It is forbidden.
I'm
gonna put up pictures of these puppies at your funerals and talk about how much you love this movie.
I'll be fucking dead. You go right ahead. You go right ahead. I'll be dead. I'll be in hell being like, yeah, fuck those puppies. Actually, the puppies were okay. Fuck those two humans. That's what my problem.
Yeah, so in short, communicate with your partner. Treat your animals better.
Don't lie to people.
Take them
be
for exercise.
Be kind to each other and your animals, and be kind to yourselves. And like what Jerry Springer used to say.
Don't be racist.
And
even if it's trendy, don't be racist just because it's trendy.
Chase cops up trees.
Yes, chase cops up trees.
That's a parody. That's a parody for the record. But anyways, my name is Kelly.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Keith.
I'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to call the police. You go ahead, call them. Call anybody you want. They can't do anything to me. Not anymore. And nor can any of you. You go ahead, call them.
Tatanka.